So we started talking last week about the dual form, al-muthanna. And we still have a little bit to mention about the muthanna before we move on to talk about jam'u al-mudhakkar salim, sound masculine plural. So what's left to talk about the muthanna? First of all, we defined the muthanna. We said that it is, as mentioned here, al-muthanna, the dual is ismun, so it's a nominal. Dalla ala ithnaini, that refers to two or indicates two. Wa aghna anil muta'atifain, and it frees from having to use a conjunction. Bi ziyadatin ala mufradih, and that indication of two is achieved by adding something to the end of the singular form, the mufrad. naHw, for example, as Zaydan, which means the two Zaids. So that frees you from having to say Zaydun wa Zayd. Zayd and Zayd. You can just say as Zaydan. So here, this part, وَأَغْنَى عَنِ الْمُتَعَاطِفَيْنِ, it frees from having to use a conjunction. That's part of the definition, so it has to be considered. It's not there for no reason. That's why not everything that appears to be a dual is truly a dual. And so we saw some expressions that are not truly duals. The author said that there are 4 words that have the rules of duals of muthanna, but they're not truly muthanna. You're stretching that alif, by the way, right? Muthanna, not muthanna. And also the shadda on the noon, muthanna. Don't speak Arabic without extending the extended vowels and without doubling the doubled consonants. Because for one, it's a great chance you're going to corrupt the meaning of what you want to say. And 2, it gives you a horrible accent. Out of those 4 words that the author gave us, he said 2 of them have the rules of muthanna under a condition and not absolutely. And 2 of them have the rules of muthanna absolutely, although they're not truly duals. So those first 2, we covered them. Those are kila and kilta. Kila and kilta. Did you notice how that got written? Kaf, lam, alif. Kaf, lam. That's kaf, alif right there. Kaf, alif. So then, what if it's lam, alif? Or kaf, lam also. Kaf. That's kaf right there. There's your lam. Like if we wrote kul. So kaf, lam, alif, kila, kila. It's not the best handwriting, but. And also you could form your kaf in different shapes, but just so that you're aware of that, in case that wasn't legible for you. Those have the rules of dual under condition. Under the condition of having a pronoun annexed to it. So you'd say kilahuma or kilayhima. Alif in the, you say kilahuma, kilahuma, the both of them or the 2 of them. That's going to be what? In a state of rafa because of that alif there. And you say kilayhima, and that's going to be mansoob or majroor. Mansoob or majroor. By the ya. The ya is the sign of the i'rab. كِلَيْهِمَا. So like that with the pronoun has the rules of muthanna. And without the pronoun, you just keep it with an alif all the time. So you'd say kila rajulain. Kila rajulain. Ja'a kila rajulain. Both men came. Ra'aytu kila rajulain. I saw both men. Doesn't change. You don't say kilay. Marartu bi kila rajulain. I passed by both men. So in that case, the alif doesn't change. If the alif is not changing, then that means does not have the rules of dual. Has the meaning of dual, but does not have the rules of dual. So it's not a true muthanna. Now, if that's clear, then we want to talk about the next two words that are not truly duals, but they have the rules of dual. Those two have rules of dual, absolutely. They have rules of dual, absolutely. The author says, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon him. وَاللَّفْظَانِ اللَّذَانِ بِغَيْرِ شَرْطٍ. The two expressions that are without a condition. So al-kalam is lafz. And what's lafz? Lafz is a sound that's made of letters, meaning a sound, yani, a sound. Sawt. Lafz is a sawt, a sound. مشتمل على بعض الحروف, that's made of letters, some letters. So there, just to remind you that what's written is not the kalam of the grammarians. What's pronounced is the kalam of the grammarians. So he says, وَاللَّفْظَانِ اللَّذَانِ بِغَيْرِ شَرْطٍ. The two pronunciations that are without a condition, meaning that have the rules of dual without a condition, they are ithnani wa ithnatan. Ithnan, which means two, and ithnatan, it also means two, but it's feminine. Ithnan is masculine, ithnatan is feminine. Taqul, you say, ja'ani ithnani wa ithnatan. Two males and two females came to me. وَرَأَيْتُ اثْنَيْنِ وَاثْنَتَيْنِ. And I saw two males and two females. وَمَرَرْتُ بِاثْنَيْنِ وَاثْنَتَيْنِ. And I passed by two males and two females. فَتُعْرِبُهُمَا إِعْرَابَ الْمُثَنَّى. Therefore, you would give those, both of those, the i'rab of the dual. Yani, absolutely. وَإِنْ كَانَ غَيْرَ مُضَافَيْنِ. Even if they were not part of a genitive construction. Even if they're not part of the genitive annexation, the first part, the mudaf, like kila. وَكَذَا تُعْرِبُهُمَا إِعْرَابَهُ إِذَا كَانَ مُضَافَيْنِ. إِذَا كَانَ مُضَافَيْنِ لِلضَّمِيرِ. And likewise, you would give them this i'rab if they were the first part of this genitive annexation, the idafa. Nahu, such as ithnahum, the two of them, yani the two of all of them, ithnahum, because hum, that's for three or more. So ithnahum, aw lil-zahir, or even if it were the mudaf, the first part of the genitive annexation, and the second part, the mudaf ilayhi, was a zahir. Zahir, yani Not a damir, not a pronoun. Not a damir. naHw, such as ifna akhawayk. Ifna akhawayk. Your two brothers. Akhawayk, that's not a pronoun. أو كان مركبين. مركبين مع العشرة. Or if these two, ithnani with natani, were compounded, were made to be compound, a part of a compound noun, compounded with the word ashara, 10. naHw, such as جاءني 12. 12 came to me. 12. This is a compound now. It's like one word. 12. ورأيت 12. And I saw 12. ومررت ب12. And I passed by 12. So here, جاءني 12. Then you know that this alif is the sign of rafa' for being the doer of the verb. And this ya, ra'aytu ithnay, this ya is the sign of nasb for being the object of the verb. And marartu bithnay, and this ya is the sign of jar for being the object of the prepositional particle. So I think that's clear. Is there any question? I think there should be a question. The question that I think there should be is, so why that's not a real dual? The reason it's not a real dual is because had it been a real dual, you'd be able to say ithin, wa ithin. By definition, the muthanna frees you from having to use a conjunction. So when you say as Zaydan, that's like saying Zaydun wa Zayd. So if nan was like that, then it would be like saying ifin wa ifin. And there's no such thing as ifin. There's no such thing as ifin. So then it's just looking like a muthanna. It's not really a muthanna. And there's something else that's not a muthanna that the author didn't talk about here. He didn't have to, but I'll mention it for you. Which is something that's called taghlib. Before we move on to talk about the plural, there's something called a taghlib. Here, a taghlib. At-taghlib from ghalaba. Ghalaba means to overcome or to dominate. Does anyone know the meaning of al-abawan? Al-abawan. Al-abawan.
Is it the fathers?
Not here. All right, I'll give you another example. How about Al-Qamaran? Anyone know what's the meaning of Al-Qamaran? Or here's another one, Al-Adhanan.
Yes. So the two adhans or the two moons?
Okay.
Two fathers.
So all of those are wrong answers. So Al-Abawan, that's the mother and the father.
Oh.
And Al-Qamaran, that's the sun and the moon. And Al-Adhanan, that's the adhan and the iqamah.
Oh, mashallah. I did not know that.
And there's many words in Arabic like that. That's called taghlib. So you're going to be on the lookout for those as you are embarking on your journey in Arabic. You're going to come across something that's in the form of dual, has all the rules of dual. He didn't have to mention this because this basically has the rules of dual, original dual. But it's not really a dual because when you say al-abawan, if you were to break it apart, you wouldn't say al-ab wal-ab. It means al-ab wal-um. And if you were to break apart al-qamaran, you wouldn't say al-qamar wal-qamar. You'd say ash-shamsu wal-qamar. And for al-adhanan, you'd say al-adhan wal-iqama. You wouldn't say al-adhan wal-adhan. So it doesn't fit the definition truly of muthanna, but it does have all the rules of muthanna. طيب. Any question before we talk about sound masculine plural? You said, was that the usage and not the original? Question's not clear for me. This is part of Arabic language. There's many things like this. I actually I made a list of what I found in the dictionary Mukhtar al-Sahah. I read through that whole dictionary and I took a lot of notes out of there, just pulling some things apart. And he gives many things, cases of taghlib, like al-aswadan. Al-aswadan, that's water and dates. Al-aswadan. Al-ahmaran, that's meat and wine. Al-ahmaran, meat and wine. And many things like that in Arabic. طيب, now let's continue. So the author says, وَأَمَّا جَمْعُ الْمُذَكَّرِ السَّالِمِ. And concerning جَمْعُ الْمُذَكَّرِ السَّالِمِ, concerning the sound masculine plural. So jama', that means plural, because jama' means collection. And mudhakkar means masculinized. Mudhakkar, masculinized, made masculine. Mudhakkar. Dhal, kaf, ra has the meaning of masculinity, among other meanings. But in Arabic, the dhakar means male. Male. Dhakar. It also means penis. The same word. Dhakar. Salim means sound. Here it means unbroken. And what's unbroken is the singular. The singular is not broken to achieve the plural. فَإِنَّهُ يُرْفَعُ بِالْوَاوِ. This type of word is indeed made nominative, put into a state of rafa' by the waw. وَيُجَرُّ وَيُنصَبُ بِالْيَاءِ. And it is made genitive and accusative by the ya. Taqul, you say, Ja'ani Zaydun. The Zaids came to me. So that's 3 or more. وَرَأَيْتُ زَيْدَيْن. And I saw, وَرَأَيْتُ زَيْدِينَ. And I saw the Zaids, 3 or more. وَمَرَرْتُ بِالزَّيْدِينَ. And I passed by the Zaids, 3 or more. This jama', does it have conditions? Yes, it does, because you can't use this for anything. Like, you don't say kitabun, only if you're just a beginner. Like, you just read books on your own, for example. You think you could say kitabun, books, or qalamun, pens. Can't do that. This type of plural has conditions. I won't say all of them, but among its conditions is that the singular is a masculine name, proper name, a masculine proper name, not a common noun, a proper noun. So you could say Muhammadun, because Muhammad is a proper noun, proper name. Alam. Alam. The Arabic word is alam. Alam. Fatha, fatha. Alam. Alam, that's a proper noun, proper name. You could say Ibrahimun, or that the singular would be a masculine adjective for something with intellect. A masculine adjective for something with intellect. So you say Muslimun and Kafirun. Those are adjectives. Muslim is an adjective. Let's say there were three men, each one, his name was Lahiq. Lahiq. Yani, each one, his name is Lahiq. Lahiq. Three of them, then you would say Al-Lahiqun, the Lahiqs. But what if there was a horse named Lahiq? Three horses. Three horses named Lahiq. You don't say Al-Lahiqun. You'd say Lawahiq. Lawahiq. Because it's not a description of something, of a masculine one with an intellect. And it has some other conditions also. We won't go into that for now. But I want you to have that so that you don't start making plurals from out your pocket. Anything you know, you start learning words and then you just put un on the end of it. Then the author says, may Allah have mercy upon him. وَحَمَلُوا عَلَيْهِ فِي ذَلِكَ أَلْفَاظًا. And the Arabs have given the judgment of this type of plural to numerous expressions. They gave the judgment of this plural to numerous expressions. So you know now what we mean by the Arabs. Those are the old ones, the ancient Arabs. And you know what we mean when we say that, what we're going to say now, that these are not real sound masculine plurals that we're about to look at. It's going to be that because they're missing some condition for them to be sound masculine plurals. But they're going to have the judgment of the sound masculine plural. So let's see what he has for us. Minha ulu. One of them is ulu. You already know that this wow is silent. You need to write it, but you don't pronounce it. Ulu, it means those. قال الله تعالى ولا يأتل أولو الفضل منكم والسعة أن يؤتوا أولي القربى. I'm not sure what يأتل means, so that I can explain the ayah for you. But here he's going to tell us the shahid, important word to know in Arabic and in religious knowledge in general when you're dealing with proofs. Shahid, that's an important word when you're dealing with proofs. The shahid means the point of evidence that's in the reference you gave. So if you give a proof, you give a whole ayah, it's not every word in the ayah that's the proof. So where's the shahid? Where's the exact point of evidence? So the shahid here is, as you can see, ulu here. So it has a wow because it's the doer of this verb. And also here, uli has a ya because it's receiver of this verb. So let's see what he says. Fa'ulu fa'il. So I know it should be written with an alif there, just like, but here, whoever typed this doesn't have an alif here. In all these spots should have an alif. Also, who did this, whoever typed this up, He elected to do what? To type the ayahs, to type out the ayahs instead of doing a copy paste from mushaf. When you're doing these types of things, if you can do copy paste from a mushaf program or something, it will decrease your chances of mistakes. If you type the ayah out, increase your chances for mistakes in the ayah. So the author says, فَأُولُو فَاعِل. Ulu in the ayah here is the doer of the verb. وَعَلَامَةُ رَفْعِهِ الْوَاوْ. And its sign of rafa' is a wow. وَأُولِي, and uli here, maf'ulun, is direct object. Yani object of the verb. وَعَلَامَةُ نَصْبِهِ الْيَاء. And the sign of its nasb is the ya. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى. So he gave us an example of rafa' and an example of nasb. So he still wants to give us an example of jar. So he gives us another ayah. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى. And the exalted one said, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Indeed, in that, there's certainly a reminder for, there's your harjar lam there, li uli, li uli, for those of, that's a mudaf, for those of li ulil albab, those of al albab, al albab, intellects. Al albab, albab is the singular, is the albab is the plural of lub, lub, lub. That means aql, intellect. Lub means aql, intellect. Al albab is the plural of lub. So li ulil albab means li ashabil uqul. Li ashabil uqul. The intellectuals. Indeed, in that there is certainly a reminder for the intellectuals. So where's the shahid? The shahid is here. Li'uli. Fahadha majrur. This is genitive. Wa'alamatu jarrihi. And its sign of jar is aliyah. Is the ya. Any questions so far? So basically, ulu is the plural of dhu. Ulu is the plural of dhu. Dhu from al-asma'ul khamsa or al-asma'ul sitta, the 6 nouns, dhu, which means sahib, the one who has. So the plural of that is ulu. So therefore, it's not a true sound masculine plural, because the true sound masculine plural does not break from its singular form. It just adds to the back of the singular form. So in Arabic, you have some words that are called ism jama'. Ismu jama'. Ismu jama'. Ismu jama' means, basically means collective noun. Collective noun. What is that? That's a plural that has no singular from its own root letters. لَيْسَ لَهُ وَاحِدٌ مِّن لَفْظِهِ. They say about ism jama', لَيْسَ لَهُ وَاحِدٌ مِّن لَفْظِهِ. لَيْسَ لَهُ وَاحِدٌ min lafzihi. That means it doesn't have a singular form that comes from its own root letters. It does not have a singular form that comes from its own root letters. Like what? Like nisa. What does nisat mean? You know nisat. Who can tell us what's nisat?
Women.
Women. What's the singular of nisat?
Niswa.
La. Niswa means women also.
امرأة.
Correct. Imra'ah. Imra'ah. So for one, you say imra'ah. For three or more, you say nisa. So then nisa does not have a singular from its own expression, from its own root letters. Okay. And there's other words like that. Many, many, many words like that. Just another example of how Arabic is so vast. He says, وَمِنْهَا عِشْرُونَ. And one of those words that has the meaning of, that has the rules of, that has the rules of the plural, but it's not a true sound masculine plural, is عشرون, which means 20. وَأَخَوَاتُهُ, and his sisters, إِلَى التِّسْعِينَ, until getting up to tis'een, which means 90. So عشرون, ثلاثون, 30, أربعون, 40, خمسون, 50, ستون, 60, سبعون, 70, ثمانون, 80, and tis'un, 90. So those are a squad right there. What's the name of this squad? عشرون وأخواتُهُ. عشرون and his sisters. Or you could say وأخواتها. عشرون and her sisters. تقول, you say, جاءني عشرون. 20 came to me. ورأيت عشرين, and I saw 20. ومررت بعشرين, and I passed by 20. وكذلك تقول في الباقي, and likewise do you say concerning the rest of them. So why that's not a true sound masculine plural? Because if you remove the waw and the noon, then you're left with ishur. Same thing we said about ithnan. And you don't say ishur. There's no singular called ishur. And then you bring a waw and the noon, and then you say ishrun. وَمِنْهَا أَهْلُونَ, and one of them is ahlun. That means family or families. Families or peoples. Family is already ism jama', collective noun. Ahl, yani. And so family or people in English, family is already a collective noun. People is already a collective noun. Ahl already refers to more than one. Except the wife. You can call the wife ahl. Then it's one. You could say to someone, Kayfa ahluk? How's your ahl? That means, it could mean your wife. So ahlun, families or peoples. قال الله تعالى, said Allah Ta'ala, yani, he said what some Arabs had said when they made an excuse for not going out to fight with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They said, شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا. Our monies and our families distracted us or busied us, occupied us. And also, من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم, from the moderate of what you feed your families. The moderate of what you feed your families. إلى أهليهم أبدا, to their families. إلى أهليهم. So here, he's going to tell us, I'm going to point it out real quick though. So our shahid in the first one is ahluna, because shagalatna, occupied us That's not the doer, that's a receiver. Occupied us, we received the act of being occupied. So what did that act to us? Amwaluna, our monies. So there's the dhamma. Wa ahluna, and our families. And there's the wow. So in the case of amwaluna, it's doer and therefore takes a dhamma because it's a jam'u taksir, a broken plural. And ahluna takes a wow because it's jam'u mulhaq bi jam'i al-mudhakkar salim, because it's annexed to the order of the sound masculine plurals. As doer, though, as doer of the verb, shaghalatna ahluna, our people. It's not a real doer, though, grammatically. It's a doer in meaning, not in grammar. In meaning, it's doer. In grammar, it's what? It's a conjunct. That wow there makes a difference. We'll talk about that when we get to the conjunctions, bi'ithnillahi ta'ala, only with the permission of Allah. Let me know if that's not clear. And where's our shahid here? Min awsati ma tut'imuna ahlikum. From the moderate of what you feed your families, ahlikum. So that is the sign of nasab. Tut'imun, you feed. So that's the doer and his doing. You feed. Who's the receiver? Ahlikum, your families. And here, ila ahlihim abada, ila harf jar. So ahlihim is majroor. The sign of jar is the ya. Why that's not a sound masculine plural in reality? Because ahl is not a man's name, nor is it a man's description. وَمِنْهَا وَابِلُونَ, and one of them is wabilun. وَهُوَ جَمْعٌ لِوَابِل, it's the plural of wabil. وَهُوَ الْمَطَرُ الْغَزِيرُ, and it is the downpour of rain, the downpour of rain, not drizzle. The downpour, the wabil. So wabilun is a plural of wabil, but wabil is neither a man's name nor a man's description. وَمِنْهَا أَرَضُونَ, and one of them is أَرَضُونَ بِتَحْرِيكِ الراء, with a haraka on the ra. أَرَضُونَ, it means earths. It's the plural of أرض. أرض, earth, or ground, or land. But ard has a sukoon on the ra. And here, aradun has a fatha on the ra, بتحريك الراء, ويجوز إسكانها في ضرورة الشعر. And it's permissible to put a sukoon on that ra in the plural. And you could say ardun in the emergency of poetry, for the necessity of poetry. Yani, there's poetic license. There's poetic license to remove that fatha in the plural form and put a sukoon inside the poetry. So we're going to call that daruratu shi'r. We're going to call that poetic license. What's that? Poetic license here means the permission to break the rule for the sake of the poetry. Daruratu shi'r. Again, though, don't let the translation cripple you. So take note of that Arabic there. Just let the translation help you. Daruratu shi'r. Those have levels. Not every emergency in poetry is of the same level. Sometimes it's very good. Sometimes it's very bad. And why that's not a true sound masculine plural? Because it's neither a man's name nor a man's description. And also, the singular form got broken. Because the singular form has a sukoon on the ra. The plural took a fatha. Arabun. So that's breaking the singular form. So that's really a type of what? Jam'u taksir. That's a jam'u taksir, a broken plural in the form of a sound masculine plural. وَمِنْهَا sinun وَبَابُهُ. And one of them is sinun, years, years. From the word sana, year. So that's broken also. That breaks the singular form. Sana is the singular. Sinun, years. Wababuhu, and it's chapter. Yani it's subchapter. Meaning all the words that are like that have this rule. Wahuwa, what's that chapter? Kullus min thulathi. Every triliteral word, yani a word that has 3 letters. Hudhifat lamuhu, its third letter gets omitted. وعوض عنها هاء التأنيث, and that third letter is replaced by ta marbuta. He called it here هاء التأنيث. What's هاء التأنيث? It's ta marbuta. Should be obvious for you why ta marbuta is called هاء التأنيث here. Who knows? Who can tell us why ta marbuta is called هاء التأنيث here?
لأن عند الوقف شيخ يعني لا نلفظ التاء نلفظها هاء أليس؟
Because when you stop on that letter, you pronounce it as a ha. You say, for example, here, Muslimah, pronouncing this ta as a ha. Muslimah. So some scholars say it's a ha, and some scholars say rather it's a ta. And some said that's the ta ha, or the ha ta. So Sinun and its chapter. The chapter of Sinun is what? He tells us here. Every noun that has 3 letters and lamuhu, the third letter, the third root letter, is hudhifat, omitted. وَعُوِّضَ عَنْهَا هَاءُ التَّأْنِيث. And the ha of femininity is brought as a replacement for that omitted third letter. وَلَمْ يُكَسَّرْ أي لم يجمع جمع تكسير. ولم يكسر means it wasn't broken into a broken plural. It wasn't made into a broken plural. ألا ترى أن سنة أصلها سنو أو سنه. Don't you see that this word sana, year, its origin is sanawun, there's the third letter, or sanahun, this or that. Either way, though, the third letter got omitted and ta marbuta took its place. بدليل قولهم في الجمع بالألف والتاء سنوات أو سنهات. And the proof that the original third letter is a wow or a hat is if you want to give this word a feminine plural by adding alif and ta, then you'd say sanawat and you'd bring the wow back. Didn't we say there's things that make words go back to their origins? And I didn't want to give you too many. Or sanahat, the hat came back, whichever way you want to say that. So then, when we pluralized it this way, and the wow or the hat came back, then we knew that that's what the original letter was from the word sana. Because, by the way, ta marbuta is always extra. Ta marbuta is always extra. Ta marbuta is always extra. It's never an original letter. Never. So we know for sure that ta marbuta is not the original letter. If we take that away, that leaves us with 2 letters here. Sin and noon. And we know that Arabic nouns have to have at least 3 letters. So we know for sure that the third letter has been omitted from this. Just by merely seeing that word sana, we know for sure that there's a missing letter. فَلَمَّا حَذَفُوا مِنَ الْمُفْرَدِ اللَّامِ. So when they omitted the third letter from the singular form, وَهِيَ الْوَاوُ أَوْ الْهَاء, which was the waw or the ha, وَعَوَّضُوا عَنْهَا هَاءَ التَّأْنِيث, and they replaced it with the ta marbuta. أرادوا في جمع التكسير أن يجعلوه على صورة جمع المذكر. Then for the broken plural, they wanted to put it into the form of a sound masculine plural. So this is a broken plural in the form of a sound masculine plural. See how those things intersect there? Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Allah creates whatever He wills. أعني مختوما بالواو والنون رفعا وبالياء والنون جرا ونصبا. Ibn Hisham says, I mean, they sealed it. They ended the plural, the broken plural, with a waw and a noon in the state of rafa' and a ya and a noon in the states of jar and nasb. ليكون ذلك جبرا لما فاته من حذف اللام, so that would patch what was missing by omitting that last letter. When they omitted that last letter, they made the plural, the broken plural, in the form of a sound masculine plural to patch that omitted third letter. وَكَذَلِكَ الْقَوْلُ فِي نَظَائِرِهِ. And likewise is what is said about what's similar to it. So that's why he said وَبَابُهُ, and its whole chapter. وَهِيَ, what's similar to that? عِضَةٌ وَعِضُونَ. Here, عِضَةٌ and عِضُونَ. وَعِزَّةٌ وَعِزُونَ. وَثُبَةٌ وَثُبُونَ. وَقُلَةٌ وَقُلُونَ. وَنَحْوُ ذَلِكَ. That means, and like that, there's even more. The Arabic is a language of patterns. So take that, put that in your pattern box. You should be building your patterns, looking out for all those patterns. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, الذين جعلوا القرآن عضين. Those who made the Quran عضين. I forgot the tafsir of that though. Also, عن اليمين وعن الشمال عزين. Also, I forgot the tafsir of this ayah. Okay. Let's finish this out. It's almost done, inshallah. ومما حمل على جمع المذكر السالم في الإعراب بنون. And among what is given the rules of sound masculine and plural in i'rab is banun, sons. So the singular is ibn. So to make the plural banun is a mulhaq, is annexed to the order of the sound masculine plurals. وَكَذَلِكَ عِلِّيُّونَ. And also عِلِّيُّونَ. That's the name of a place. It looks like a plural, and it's not even a plural. It's a name. The whole thing is a name. It's a name that has the form of a plural. وَمَا أَشْبَهَهُ مِمَّا ثُمِّيَ بِهِ مِنَ الْجُمُوعِ. And whatever is like عِلِّيُّونَ, amongst what was named with a plural expression. You're given a name. The name itself is in the form of a plural. ألا ترى أن عليين في الأصل. Don't you see that عليين in origin جمع لعلي, that it's a plural of علي. فنقل عن ذلك, then it was transported. فنقل عن ذلك المعنى, then it was transported from there. It was taken out of that meaning. وَسُمِّيَ بِهِ أَعْلَى الْجَنَّةِ, and then the upper part of the garden, the upper part of paradise was named with that name. What we learned is that Illiyun is the place where the souls of the pious believers go after their bodies decay. وأعرب هذا الإعراب نظرا إلى أصله. And it was given this i'rab by considering its origin. That statement, I can't explain it. قال الله تعالى, Allah Ta'ala says, كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين وما أدراك ما عليون فعلى ذلك إن سميت رجلا بزيدون قلت. So according to that, had you named a man Zaydun, Allah blessed you with a son and you named him Zaydun, قلت, then you would say, if that were what you wanted to do, هذا زيدون ورأيت زيدين ومررت بزيدين. Then you would say like that, this is Zaydun and with a wow, and I saw Zaydin with a ya, and I passed by Zaydin with a ya. فتعربه كما كنت تعربه حين كان جمعا. So you make its i'rab like it would have been had it been a true plural. Like Ibn Abidin, Ibn Abidin, the Hanafi scholar. It's always going to have a ya though because it's the second part of the idafa. You wouldn't say Ibn Abidun. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Allah knows best. We completed that, and now he wants to talk about the feminine plural.